Hey guys, Jimmy Zane here. We're back with Chasing the Mic. And right now, I got two drummers with me, fellow drummers. I always love talking to the percussionists. We've got Wayne and we have Larry. I'm Jimmy. How you guys doing? And nice for you guys to join us. So, I know you guys heard about Neil Peart. We were just talking about that. What do you think about that? I mean, how does that make you feel thinking, oh man, someday that could happen?
I think it can happen to anyone at any time, but he's not as young as he used to be.
That's true. I mean,
it takes its toll over time.
Being drummers. Now, what kind of genre are you? What kind of genres do you guys like? I mean, what kind of genre are you into?
What kind of drumming?
Like genre music, like what kind of music? What kind of music you prefer?
I like jazz and blues.
Have you played that all your life, or?
I started off when the Beatles were popular, and '65 is when I started.
Okay, first I gotta say this because you guys are thinking, what? He just told me how old he is, and I don't know if you want to tell people, but it kind of blew my mind. But how old are you?
I'll be 66 in April.
He's 94.
Dude, that's crazy. 67. The guy looks younger than me. Oh my God, that's crazy. Now, what are some of your biggest influences?
It's Bonham. I mean, all kinds of drummers. I appreciate them all. You know.
What kind of music are you into? I mean, what bands did you listen to growing up that really got you wanting to play?
I grew up listening to Zeppelin and Hendrix and Clapton, but I appreciate all kinds of music. You know, and you get that up here at the open mic night. It's
you get a variety.
You never know. From week to week,
right?
You get all kinds of stuff. People coming in. It's pretty cool.
Now, I've asked a lot of musicians this, and I get definitely want your all's opinion. Are you all from Baltimore?
I am.
Yep. Yeah.
So you guys remember back in the day, Baltimore used to be a pretty heavy place for music. Used to have a lot of great venues. And as I've said before, I think Baltimore is dying when it comes to the music scene. What do you guys say about that?
I agree. The clubs are dying out too, and there's too much. I don't know what you call sampled music. Like they don't need a thing. Get a drum machine,
right?
Instead of hiring a drummer.
Right, that's true. What do you think?
I think you can go out and find music any night of the week if you want to. You know, I mean, on the weekends, you go to Baltimore. There's a lot of music playing down there.
That's good. I mean, that's a good positive thing. Would you say it's hard to find the circuit?
Hard to find the circuit.
Yeah. Like for instance, if you really want to go out and you want to play in a venue, you want to play with somebody. Now, granted, tonight's great. Wednesdays, Chappies, open mic night, everybody gets something jammed. But if you really wanted to go see a band that you thought was really well and you remember back in the day, how hard would it be to actually go find a band that you think you would like today playing out? It stuns you.
To find a band that I like?
Yeah.
I can't answer that honestly because I don't like.
You don't get it.
Well, you know, I don't think I think some of us are older, so we don't go out bar hopping all the time. Right. But like I said, there's a lot of talented people out there that if you go around, you can find some really good music.
Now you said you grew up listening to Beatles, so would it be safe to say that they were a big influence in your life for you to start playing?
They were, but I like soul music too. I was playing in soul bands in the late 60s.
Really?
And I got into jazz, I guess, when I was about 18.
Wow. So who were some of your big jazz influences?
Philly Joe Jones, Tony Williams, Elvin Jones, people like that.
Did you play in school?
I didn't play in school. I was 15, and I was self-taught. I
Wow.
took my first lesson at age 28.
Really? Playing drums?
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. So you self-taught yourself, and then look at you today. You're out there playing.
Yeah,
I do my best.
Now, what about you? Were you self-taught, or did somebody teach you?
I started when I was in school, in elementary school, in 4th grade. You know, you could pick the band or the chorus or whatever. I started playing drums, and I played all the way through high school.
Now, do you guys remember the very first kit you ever played on?
Yeah.
What was it?
It was an old Ludwig kit. My dad took me down to this place called Ted's Music. You ever heard of Ted's Music?
It's still there. Ted's is still there. One of the best places ever.
My dad, when I was a little kid,
Same here, man.
My
Used
dad
to
took
go
me down to
build your own
Ted's.
drum kit.
Yeah, and that was my first kit.
Oh,
I had it for a long
I can't believe you
time.
said that.
Yep.
Yeah, if you remember, you could walk in there. They have all these shells, drum shells, and Ted's. You go upstairs on the second floor, and he'd have these rows of wraps. So Ted would be like, pick out 4 shells, because he was like from like Spain or something. I can't remember if he just had that accent. So you pick out a couple shells, you put the lugs on, and wrap it yourself, and you had yourself a drum kit, man. That's funny. Ludwig, what was your first drum kit?
It's an interesting story. Some friends of mine were in a group in the neighborhood, and they practiced at my house one time in the summer when my parents were at work. And the guy left his drum kit there. And he took his sticks, so I took a pair of some knives, and not the sharp end, I used the other end. And I eventually bought those drums. My friend paid $75. He charged me like $50. I sold them for $30, and the next guy sold them for $3. They were so bad.
Wow.
Just pieced together.
So they weren't really a brand of kit?
They were supposedly Ludwigs. They were all single tension, and the sparkle was flaking off. And
yeah, I can remember the first kit I ever played. Well, actually, it was either a Rogers or a Gretsch. My grandfather wouldn't let me play the Ludwig rockers. My grandfather had the 60s, so he had the Gretsch, and he had the Rogers, and he had the Ludwig. I would play the I do believe it was the Gretsch kit. He would never let me play the Ludwig because that was his baby. But then eventually, as I got older and I became really, really good, he gave me the Ludwig Rockers kit. I wish I would have had that today, because to buy an authentic Ludwig Rockers kit will cost you $3,000. You know what I mean? Now, what kind of kits do you play now?
I play. I have 2 Tama kits. My snare drum is a Ludwig Superphonic.
The silver.
I got it when I started playing.
Super snare, I think they call it.
It's a Superphonic, is what it is. It's a steel snare. And that's the first snare drum I ever had.
Wide snares, I think.
It's the first snare drum I ever had. I got it in elementary school, and that's why I still play today.
What about you? What do you play today?
I have, let's see, I bought a Rogers kit. I sold my Ludwig kit, but I ended up buying another Ludwig kit to leave at my parents' house because I can't practice too often at my house because there's a cop that lives next door. I have 4 drum kits. I have a Gretsch and a Slingerland also.
Oh. Slingerland.
Yeah. Slingerlands are the newest ones.
I tell you, man, they don't make the drums like they used to, but one drum kit that, it's funny you said Rogers. Rogers made an excellent set of drums back in the day in the 80s. Then they sold their company. I think it was the Fender. And then Fender tried to re-release Rogers drum kits. It didn't work out too good for them.
I saw a drum kit at Bill's Music House for $449.
Bill's Music, man. Yeah, some of the great places I remember. And it's so funny you said Ted's, because, man, my grandfather brought me there when I was a kid, and I would buy little pieces and parts for my drum. And it's so funny because it's still there today. It's on Center Street. It's still where it's always been. And I just went there last week, picked up a 6-inch Evans marching band drum head for my quarter toms. He only had one. Had to go down to Guitar Center to order the second one. But, yeah, man, some of the great music places like Bill's Music and Ted's. And then, of course, back in the day was Master Musicians. I don't know if you guys remember Master Musicians. Yeah, they were located right there at Chesapeake Shopping Center. But, yeah, some of the great music places are still there, like Bill's and stuff like that.
Chuck Levin's is another good
Chuck
place.
Levin's.
But that's more like in D.C.
Yeah. But still, those were still – Chuck Levin's was the name, a household name as well.
Yeah.
You know, so if you guys had a choice to tour at this age, would you do it?
I don't think so.
No. What
Too
about
much
you?
work now.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I love it, man. Thanks a lot, guys, man. I appreciate you talking to me, man. Hey, man, as you heard it, man, he said he would do it. He said probably not. I'm Jimmy Zane. We'll be talking to some more people later on. Stick around. I would do it, man. I would do it,
If
man.
I had a roadie, I'd do it.